Hello everybody, in this video we're going to cover Procurement for X, and meaning the role of procurement for quality, reliability, cost, speed and so on when you develop a new product and you decide what materials, what components to purchase. Okay, and I'm joined by Andrew Amenovin. Hi Andrew.
Hello, Renaud. Good to be here again.
So, Procurement for X, what is this? So, we're used to talking about design for X, design for manufacturing and design for assembly, design for quality, design for reliability, and so on. But we tend to talk about design much more than procurement. However, when developing a new product, it goes hand in hand with what materials, what components are you going to purchase, and how you're going to process it, and so on. It all goes together, right? You can't just design in a vacuum without actually thinking of what will be purchased to make production. So let's go through some key topics that are really important when it comes to procurement. First, a simple one. If you're going to have assembly, say in Vietnam, it's better if most of the components and materials are actually made in Vietnam, right? It will save you some cost and some time, but also come with some other benefits, right? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that not only you want better and quality components, but you also want quality suppliers, and that's what basically Procurement for X means. You need to have suppliers that really are, for example, ISO 9000 compliant. They understand that their product needs to be tested and approved for reliability before they ship it to their customer. And I think that it doesn't matter how small or big your product is, you have to keep in mind the risks associated with a supplier that does not have a qualified product.
Right. And we're going to cover some of the points you mentioned in the next points here. And if possible, you need to have local suppliers because if there's a problem, they can fix it much faster, right? Rather than sending defective goods back and so on, which can be a nightmare. And the next point we want to cover is, and Andrew mentioned that, the suppliers have to be good suppliers. They have to be able to do the job consistently well, meaning to send you good parts, right?
And exactly. And that's why in many cases, you have supplier reviews, supplier quarterly business reviews, and the scorecards for evaluating the consistency of the quality of the suppliers and so on.
Right. So this is an example here. If you want to do a process audit on a plastic injection molding supplier, this is the kind of things typically that you might want to look at. Their process controls, their preventive maintenance, how they select and check and store the polymer, and so on and so forth, right? So it's not just about do they actually check their products at the end of the line or at the end of their own production. It's really about all their internal systems. And this is another example, from a safety data sheet from Panasonic for batteries, right?
So you can see, for example, here is Panasonic, a very basically well-known supplier that has a very detailed supplier data sheet.
Yeah, and they will tell you how to transport it, how to store it, and so on. This is really, provides a lot of extra confidence. Might be a bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, it might be the best choice. When you actually talk to potential suppliers and you screen them, you kind of start to eliminate them. As for their reliability test reports, I see a lot of purchasers that don't even think about that. But
yes,
if they can share some of their testing reports with you, or even like this is from a hard drive disk, right? So Andrew, what does that mean here? For example, MTBF of 2 million hours, is this typical for electronic components?
Yeah, I mean, and this is maybe typical for this hard drive. It may not be typical for an airplane, which is going to be, flying for many, many hours. But what is important is that the procurement manager must ask for some test data on the component that they're purchasing or on the product that they're purchasing. Because without the test data, you have no idea of what the reliability and basically overall performance in time of this product is going to be. In this case, if you're looking for a hard disk drive, okay, maybe 2 million hours is appropriate, but that may not be true for a more serious component and or a different type of for a different product that you're building.
Absolutely. Yep. So at least you have a basis on which to evaluate. Okay,
Absolutely.
Is this component going to be okay, or is it going to be a source of a lot of failures?
Correct.
The next point also, when doing procurement for compliance, well, can you buy parts or components or materials that are already certified? For example, Eastman has developed a copolyester called Triton, and then they communicate a lot of information about the kind of testing that they have done, and they can share independent test reports.
Yeah, this is a really good example of a company that has capability to not only do very detailed tests on this particular substance, but also they have been successfully doing these kind of tests for a long time. So it's much better for them with a little bit of cost to do the test than you try to set up the entire system with the cost and also not necessarily having any assurance that the product is actually going to be qualified and approved by FDA.
That's for sure. Food safety
Yes.
testing is quite expensive, and if you're not even sure it's going to pass, well, that's not great.
Absolutely.
Business fit, making sure that you work with suppliers that are happy to work with you. You're not too small for them, not too big for them, not requiring too much for them, right? That makes a lot of sense, right?
I think it does. I think in any kind of business, you want to make sure to work with a supplier that understands your needs and understands your schedule and timeline, and then you have a better working relationship with them as long as they deliver on time and with a quality product.
Yeah. And the last point that we want to mention is find standard off-the-shelf parts wherever possible. So you might say, well, this is the designer's job. Well, no, this is actually also the procurement people's job to push back and say, well, let us search a little bit on the market, right? So something that people always want to do is their own plastic enclosure, but just do a Google search, or there's other ways to find them, of course. You might find something that with a little bit of machining, printing of your logo might be just good, and you save so much money on tooling, right?
Exactly. I think the first thing a procurement manager must do is to search for see if this product already is or has been in the market and already been approved and used, and the bugs has been out through the manufacturing process. You should really never start with a custom part until you have exhausted your search on not finding any off-the-shelf part. So the first choice is always should be off-the-shelf parts before you go to expensive, parts that are made just for you, not anybody else.
Yeah. Okay, that was a great summary. Thanks, Andrew. I hope
Absolutely.
That was clear, and I hope that we clarified why procurement has such a huge role when developing new products. Thanks.
See you next time. Thank you.